Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new KIZUNA Clash over here on the global side of the game. That is KIZUNA Clash versus Katakuri. Now, this particular KIZUNA Clash comes out pretty much today, from the time that you guys are watching this particular video. And in this video, I do have 3 teams for you guys to take on this actual event. First team is a free-to-play team. Second team is the team that I will most likely be using, as well as the third team being a team that actually doesn't use any of the new characters that are the big dog you see on screen, the Capone Pirates. They are the new legend for this particular KIZUNA Clash, as well as Brook and Judge being the rare recruits. But let's take a quick look at what this event actually does. So there are a bunch of tea time homies, and there are some feasts available on the KIZUNA, which is great. You can get the Crystal Skulls for Charlotte Cracker, so Cracker gets his 6+ with the release of this KIZUNA as well, so yay for Cracker. Shout out to my boy 3D2Y, big Cracker fan. I highly recommend trying to get these skulls as well, as trying to get them later down the track, you will be waiting just a little while. As you can see, we're only just getting the Mihawk skulls available, which were available like 2 KIZUNAs ago, so it's up to you guys, but I'd highly recommend just trying to get to at least box 6 and finish it off. We've got Onami and Robin in the shop, in the KIZUNA shop, along with the Mihawk skulls. And then we just have a bunch of information on Tea Time Homies. There are some login gifts and KIZUNA potions and tickets available for you guys. There are a bunch of Chopper Man missions, as well as a bunch of free-to-play units that you guys can actually go for. Sorry, boosted units. Not free-to-play units, boosted units. They do include free-to-play units, but it's basically all the new free-to-play units, all of the new rare recruits, all of the new batch. And some of the older batches too, like the Halloween batch, the Christmas batch, the Kaido and Zoro batch, as well as the Luffy and Sanji unit, which was a bit of a strange one to me. You have the restricted units of Shiryu and all those blowaway characters like Bardo as well. The standard stock stuff. But let's take a look at the infograph that our boy Pyro Man and the Frankie House have put together. Big shout out to Frankie House for putting this together. They do an amazing job. Like, just look at it. It's absolutely stunning. Let's take a look at what the Katakuri does. This artwork is really, really nice. It's all about where he makes that Gatling gun and he's like shooting those Moki bullets. It's just super, super nice. So his captain ability boosts attack of shooter characters by 3.5. He is a shooter driven, I'm pretty sure, as well as being a Psy unit. He boosts their HP by 1.25, as well as reducing damage by 20%. So pretty stock standard for a free-to-play unit. Not amazing, but definitely not bad by any means. His special reduces paralysis by 5 turns. Reduces enemies' percent damage reduction by 5 turns, and changes block, recovery, and tandem into matching, as well as being a chain locker for 3 turns at 2.75. The Unstoppable Moki Blade Bullet. So pretty good special. Some nice utility with paralysis and damage reduction removal. Got a little bit of orb manipulation, as well as 3 turns of a chain lock, which is very underrated in my opinion, as it actually can't be removed through removing positive effects. So that's what the character does. Definitely farm him up. You can max his limit break with this KIZUNA as well, so that is something to note. Let's move on to the first variation now, the Psy variation of Katakuri. On stage 1, Dex sign-in characters get 15 turns of cooldown, so build your teams around those 3 colors. Ideally, int units is the characters you want to build. Stage 2, we come up against Brulee. She has 4 turns of a 2 Great Barrier, and after turn 1, she changes all orbs into block. Now, I was under the impression that she does that on turn 1, so these teams are a bit janky, but there are other ways to go about it. On the final stage, stage 3 against Katakuri, he has 99 turns of full immunity, 99 turns of normal attacks only, and puts up 8 turns of despair, which will go down to 5 with sockets, and then he changes all your slots into block slots. He does a bunch of stuff after turn 1, 3, and HP cutting in less than 20%. Basically, just kill him on turn 1, otherwise, you're going to be in for a bad time. After stage 30, though, he has 4 turns of damage reduction and 2 turns of defense up, so that is something to note as well. But, as I mentioned, I do have 3 teams for you guys in today's video. So, let's take a quick look at the first team. The first team is a free-to-play team. So, the free-to-play team that I have put together for you guys utilizes Shiryu as a friend captain. Now, for some reason, I have lost my sounds. It always happens on this particular time frame. I don't know why. I'm just going to roll with it because I'm so done trying to re-record this. But, it basically consists of Shiryu as our captain, which is awesome. Shiryu is a 3.75 times captain for driven and slashes, and he removes despair by 2 turns. We've got Kaido here as an attack booster. You could try and change Kaido for a defense up removal, as this particular team isn't viable past stage 30, but the damage is only 31 mil, so I pretty much don't think it's going to be viable anyway. We've got despair removal with Croc, we've got an orb boost with Kamizo, a chain lock with page 1, and then an attack boost with Beach. So the way this team sort of functions is on stage 2, you want to use the Kaido special just to get an attack boost and some adjacent orbs matching. That way you can sort of rely on enough damage to take out Brulee. And then on the final stage, we can get Despair removal with Croc. We have Color Affinity with Shiryu, Chain Lock with Page 1, Orb Boost with Kamizo, and then we have Attack Boost with the Capone Pirates. Now, the Capone Pirates can remove percent damage, so can Kamizo, but like I said, it just doesn't have defense up. So 31 mils, definitely not bad at all. And it should work for quite a while. This particular team uses the Don Cornox Doflamingo ship as well from his forest. But I imagine you could easily use the Megalo as well if you guys are struggling with ships. Moving on to my team now, I am going to be using Moria as my captain as I am missing the Fire Tank Pirates. If you guys have your own Fire Tank Pirates, just replace Big Mom with Fire Tank and you will be hunky-dory. But other than that, there really isn't too many changes. 5 times captain with Moria. He's an Orb booster. He's a Color Affinity booster. Judge can remove Despair by 5 turns. The Brook is a Chain Locker. He also removes the defense up after stage 30. Blackbeard's just here because he's a boosted unit. Big Mom's boosted as well, which is great, but she can also give us an attack or an Orb boost depending on what we need. And then we've got an attack boost with the Fire Tank Pirates and Orb Manipulation through Block Orbs as well. But the way this team sort of functions is on stage 2, we want to use Big Mom and Moria. We can then use Moria to lock our orbs if we need to, or get that super typing effect. We've got an attack boost, and we've got an orb boost, and then we can carry out an orb boost into the final stage. Now, if Big Mom, if you are hitting too hard on stage 2, don't stress, because Judge can give you an orb boost as well. You really want that color affinity that Moria can provide on the final stage, and that's why this particular team does so much damage at 111 mil. Obviously, Blackbeard's replaceable with anyone that you guys like, but the rest of the team is sort of set in stone to get as many ticket drops as possible. Moving on to the final team now, we are utilizing the Halloween Slashers. So this team doesn't use the new units, it doesn't use the Fire Tank Pirates, or the Brook, or the Judge. Now, with these two as leaders, we have Shanks and we have Law. Law can just remove the defense. The Despair, which is really, really nice. We've got defense up, damage reduction removal with Iron. We've got an attack boost with Mihawk. We've got block orb manipulation with the super typing of Shanks or the Pudding. And then we've got Big Mom for the chain lock and the base stat boost. So this whole team is Slasher and Cerebral based. It should work very, very nicely. But the downside is on stage 2, when we use the Law and the Shanks special, it is going to be a little bit shaky with using the Mihawk special as well and hitting those 3 perfects. So just be mindful of that. I would save the Mihawk special to the final stage, and that way you will lose a little bit of damage, but at least that way... So that's with the 2.25. So still 185 mil with the 2.25. So you guys will be fine. Pudding is completely replaceable. She's literally just here because I thought we had block orbs on stage 2, but we don't, so it doesn't even matter because you do have the super typing of Halloween Shanks to actually rotate block orbs as well. If you really want to, like, you could do that. That could work as well. But as you guys can see, it really doesn't matter too much. So that was the Psy variation of Katakuri. Let's take a look at the Int variation of Katakuri now. So against the Int variation, Driven, Shooters, and Strikers get their cooldowns by 15 turns on turn 1. Stage 2, we come up against Smoothie, who has an Int unit, which is great because it matches, which I really like. She has a preemptive that turns all orbs to unfavorable and has 3 turns of blow away on your bottom row, which absolutely sucks. This basically means you have to bring Fire Tank Pirates, but you can sort of stall a turn here, cop the three turns of remove sound effects, and then just sort of get your units back by the final stage. But there aren't a lot of characters that are immune to blow away, but there actually might be. I'm pretty sure that there are a couple of characters like I have put together here, but we'll talk about that as we get through it. On stage 3, we come against Katakuri. He has 99 turns of full immunity, 99 turns of normal attacks only. He has 4 turns of slot binds, a special bind on your bottom and middle row, as well as putting up 4 turns of resilience. So you have to get around resilience, which is a little bit annoying. After turn 1, 2, 3, does a whole bunch of stuff, but I do have to read after stage 5 just because of the amount of effort that Pyroman put in. After turn 5, Katakuri buries you in a giant pile of Moki. He then leaves you to eat his Merianders. Basically, it's instant death damage. I love it. Keep it up, Pyroman. On stage 30 plus, he has 5 turns of defense up as well. So that is something that we have to get around. So the first team, the free-to-play team that I have put together for you guys, looks a little bit like this. Now, I'm pretty chuffed with this particular team. It's a full driven side team, which is really, really cool and actually works wonders. With Enel as our captain, he can be up to a 3.5 as long as you kill something in the previous turn, stacking 3 times. So you will be just shy of the 3.5. I think it'll actually look a bit more like that, realistically. But, yeah, because I think you only kill 2 units, and that's how it works. Or it might not work like that. It might actually because the first unit runs away. Even still, 50 million is actually still really good for a free-to-play team. It does use the Capone Pirates to get around that blow-away mechanic. They're actually our attack booster, and with Enel as our captain, we can actually do end-of-turn damage, which means we can get around resilience. We have a 2.75 times orb boost with Sakazuki Borsalino. Swanjuan Wolf, Mr. Swanjuan! He is our color affinity booster on the final stage. He's actually immune to blow away too, so there is that for you guys as well. We have Cavendish and Lin for stage 2. So you can use Cavendish to rotate the unfavorable orbs in the match and get a 1.75 attack and orb boost. And then use the chain lock after that for Lin. Because it's 3 turns, you can carry that into the final stage. So that should work really, really nicely. Shouldn't have too many issues and actually gets around all of the effects really, really easily. The only downside is the defense up that gets inflicted to us on the, what's it called, stage? After stage 30. There is no way of getting around defense up with this particular team, which is a bit of a shame because, like, it does a lot of damage. I guess you could try and replace the Cavendish, I guess, with defense up removal, but you really want to make sure you can take out stage 2. Stage 2 is very, very annoying, especially with free-to-play teams. But up to level 30, this team's not going to have any issues whatsoever. Moving on to my team now, this is the team that I'm going to be most likely be using. It actually uses Super Type Boa as our captain. Because she's a shooter unit, she pairs up very, very nicely with the Fire Tank Pirates. She can actually be our Super Type booster. That way we can get an attack boost and a full bottle orbs on stage 2 and take that stage out easy peasy. We can then get an attack boost with the Fire Tank Pirates on stage 3. We have color affinity with Enel. We have an orb boost with Alvaro Bizarro. And then we have the 2 boosted units in Brook and Judge. So Brook is actually going to remove the defense up as well as be our chain locker for this team. And Judge is basically just here to remove the Despair, I'm pretty sure. Is it? Is it Despair? Oh, he gets around the Resilience, sorry. He gets around that Resilience. He has the 5 turns of Resilience removal. He is an Orb Booster too, but because our captain's not Driven or Powerhouse, we have to resort to using the Alvaro Bizarro. And that way we have an Orb, 2 times Orb Boost. We have a 2.25 Color Affinity Boost. We have a 2.5 times Attack Boost, a 3 times Chain Lock. And the damage that you see on screen is not taking into consideration things like boosted units. And it's not taking into consideration the super effective against all types, which I don't think Brook and Judge will be, but the Fire Tank Pirates, they definitely should be. But that's my team. It should work fairly well. I don't see it having too many issues, but we will see with the playthrough video. Moving on to the final team of the video now. Sorry, not the final team. The final team for the INT variation. Now, this team does use a Fire Tank Pirates friend captain, but you can easily do this, and then you can replace the Fire Tank Pirates with another attack booster. That should work absolutely fine. I think the... Can you be blown away? I'm pretty sure these guys can all be blown away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. So with this particular team, if you aren't using the Fire Tank Pirates as your friend captain, what you actually can do is, if you have them as a friend captain, you don't have to worry about the blow away, but you can do that and replace them with another attack booster. I'm pretty sure slashes don't get boosted on this. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of another attack booster for Psy or Driven, but I do imagine that there is one out there that that could work, like Bardo Cavendish, I imagine would work absolutely fine. You could even use Bardo Cavendish as your friend captain, but I would highly recommend bringing Germa in there somewhere. If you guys do get that blow away, you do have to sort of stall a turn. That is something you will have to do, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But with this particular team, it has a lot of damage, 154 mil. Enel has end-of-turn damage to get around Resilience. He's our Color Affinity booster. We have the White Knight Cavendish again for stage 2. Queen gets around defense up, as well as being a chain locker. We have super typing with the Germa and a 2.75 times orb boost with Sakazuki and Borsalino, and then a 2.5 times attack boost with the Fire Tank Pirate. So this team should work very, very well. As you can see, it has a lot of damage, and won't have too many issues moving forward. So let's look at the final color variation now, the strength variation against Katakuri. Against the strength variation of Katakuri, Powerhouse, Driven, and Slashers get their cooldowns by 15 turns. And on stage 2, we come up against Flambe. Now, Flambe is actually a Psy unit, not a strength unit, and that kind of sucks. She does have a preemptive that gives us 6 turns of bind on our top right, bottom right, middle left, which is very annoying. It makes like that weird pattern like this for your characters. Well, actually it would look more like this for you guys because it's all backwards. So just be mindful of that. For your bind remover, has to be in the bottom left or the middle right. On stage 3, Katakuri has 99 turns of defense down and delay immunity, 99 turns of normal attacks only, and changes all orbs into recovery, which he then makes unfavorable. For after 1 turn, he does something, he puts up hunger, and after turn 5, he grabs his trident and stabs all of your team in a single blow. He is quite amazed that your team stood in a straight line for him. Goddamn, Pyroman, I freaking love you. He has a HP cut, interrupt, and if you change your orbs, he actually changes all your orbs into block orbs, and then makes you unable to change them. So you get that orb-like lock mechanic, which is super annoying because it gives you block orbs and you can't do anything about it. But if you are using the Fire Tank Pirates, you actually can get around that by rotating your orbs easy peasy. After stage 33, he has 5 turns of Threshold. So let's take a quick look at the free-to-play team that I have put together for you guys. It looks a little bit like this. Now, this team doesn't have a lot of damage output, but it was sort of the best that I could come up with. I guess there might be something better, but at this point in time, I just kind of like, meh. Alright, so we have 3.75 times Captain ability with our Shuri unit. He can actually remove 4 turns of paralysis. Now, something that wasn't on the infograph was there are 5 turns of paralysis on the strength variation. I'm not criticizing my boy Pyroman, but I just noticed it thanks to Toadsty's stream today. So just be mindful there are 5 turns of paralysis. So that's why we have Shiryu on the team. He's also at 2 times color affinity, and then if you pair him up with Blackbeard, we can remove all the paralysis and get an orb buff as well. Okiku can remove the bind, so make sure Okiku's either here or there, as I mentioned before. Okiku can actually get around that bind and give us an orb boost for stage 2. We have a chain lock with the Fuji unit, as well as removing the threshold with Dofi. So it all should work quite nicely. And then we have orb manipulation and an attack boost with the Fire Tank Pirates. We've got a cheeky little orb boost, an attack boost, color affinity, and a chain lock. So this team should work fairly well for a little while. But 16 million, it's not a lot. It doesn't take into consideration boosted units and super effective against all types with the Fire Tank Pirates, which I do imagine they will be. But 16 mil is still very, very low. But like I said, it is what it is when it comes to free-to-play teams. Moving on to my team now, I am going to be using the Big Dog Kaido and the Moby Dick as my ship. Very important you guys have the Moby Dick as your ship for this team to work. So that way you can actually get the super typing. Now the damage you see on screen does not take into consideration Kaido's double damage. That is something to note. So this team is more like doing upwards of 160 and then more with boosted units and super effective against all types. And you guys get the gist. So with Kaido, we have double damage, but before you actually use the Kaido special on stage 2, you need to remove the bind with Magellan. So Magellan needs to be here or there, like I said, with Okiku. Very important that you actually have Magellan in the middle right or the bottom left, otherwise the bind won't work. With Magellan too, you can actually use the Hannibal support for a 1.3 times color affinity, conditional boost against poisoned, so that is something to note as well. If you guys are missing Kaido as well, you can easily do something like this. That could work too. You can't use Magellan as your captain unless you bring a friend Magellan, but you can easily use a Kaido as your captain if you need to. So with the double damage, we have 2 times color affinity with Magellan. We have a 2.5 times orb with a Kainu. We have a 3 times chain lock with a Kainu or Brook. And we have a 2.5 times attack boost with Beej. Very important though that you use Beej as attack boost first. That way you lock all your orbs and you don't have to worry about that orb interrupt. Judge is literally on this team for no reason. He's just here for points. But he is another option for an orb booster. So if you don't have Versa Kainu, there is that as well. Moving on to the final team now. Now, this particular team is a little bit janky. Like I was saying, like this particular team, you can sort of chop and change a little bit. But with this particular team, we aren't using the Fire Tank Pirates. Now, we are using the Shark Superb as our ship. We have a Kainu as our captain. He's going to give us the orb boost on stage 2 and a full board of quick orbs, which we can then lock with our Doflamingo and extend the orb boost for 2 turns. That way on the final stage, we need to make sure our friend Magellan has double special activation. So we not only get the poison, but we also get the 2.5 times attack boost. If you have your own Magellan, you can easily do something like this and then bring the Hannibal support for more damage. But if you're missing Magellan or some of those newer units, this will work absolutely fine too. We have a chain lock with Kamizo, 3 times chain lock. We have color affinity and the threshold removal with our Zoro unit. And then we can remove the blind with our Harajukin. So this team should work absolutely fine. There should be no issues whatsoever. And with that, we've basically covered all of the color variations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you are new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button as well. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!